I guess my first question is, tell me about the internship. Why do you believe this is an important curriculum?
So, compared to everything the university has to offer, there is nothing that will help you understand what the government truly does and what the government truly is until you can actually get inside of it. And this is that opportunity to go inside, get an in-depth look at what our government, our legislature does for Alaska. So when I realized that the internship opportunity was a thing, I was talking with my professors and Dr. Forrest Neighbors of the University of Alaska Anchorage. He sat down with me and he basically said that this is something for your future. You need to apply for this because this is an opportunity like none other, especially with the field that you're going for. I'm a political science major and a journalism major, and the legislature is my dream. I want to be here one day, working for Alaskans, being part of the process that helps make our state better with each and every passing day. And he told me, if you want to do that, you need to do this internship. The Ted Stevens legislative internship changed everything. I applied for it, I was accepted, and then I came here and I started doing the duties that I needed to do. And this isn't some kind of internship. If you find the right office, this isn't going to be the kind of internship where you're sitting down dealing with phones or delivering paper, getting coffee and whatever. You're actually in an office with a computer or with other staffers, carrying legislation, working on bills, working on citations, dealing with people and citizens out there in the state who need something done or changed. You have to, if you get a phone call and it's for an intern and they want you to do a little project, you'll be dealing with the families. Two of the bills that I actually carried here on the Senate side were SB 4 and SB 84. And these were the Trooper Gabe Rich Memorial Bridge and the Scott Johnson Memorial Bridge. And I did not expect myself to be working with different families across the state, talking about the experiences of these two fallen troopers. I thought I was just going to come here, sit down at a desk, and maybe draft up a little legislation, send that to an office or whatever, and then watch the process begin. But I was actually engaged with the Alaska community, and I did not expect that at all. And I grew close to the families, and it was very nice to actually talk to them and hear the experiences. So you learn what it is to be an Alaskan in the legislature.
So what was it like testifying before in a committee hearing?
It was very terrifying at first. It was kind of nerve-wracking sitting down at the table, and I was a bit shaky and my voice sounded warbly. I was worried that I was going to fail it. And if you actually go back and watch my first hearing related to my personal bill, SB 73, I addressed the Senate State Affairs Committee as the Senate Finance Committee because I was so nervous. But as I kept going, I got into the flow of it, and I remembered that this is a project I'm working on, and that I don't have to be worried about it. These are 5 other people who were bestowed the gift to work in the legislature by thousands of Alaskans, and that's kind of terrifying. But when you remember that they're also everyday people, you can sit down and basically have a normal conversation with them. You're discussing the projects that you're working on with them. And that's an opportunity like none other, to create legislation and discuss it with 5 different people and see what this can do for the Alaskan people. What will it change? What will it do? Will it better the state? Will it make it worse? You have to discuss these things in committee. And as terrifying as that is, I really love it, because it's a thrill almost to sit down in that table and discuss this.
So how did you discover that a lieutenant governor's successor, that process could use a review?
Yeah, I was sitting on my desk in the senator's office, and I was watching on Gavel, Alaska, they have different things going on, and I watched a committee hearing for the lieutenant governor designee. He was being approved by that committee, interviewed by that committee, right. And I was wondering, what's this process? I've never seen a state have a process like this. I looked at the federal government and I know what that process is for their line of succession. You've got the president, vice president, and so on and so forth in a set organized list. And I was curious, I wanted to see what the list was like here. What commissioners are on this list? And I realized there's no commissioners on the list. The governor gets to choose one person from his cabinet to be the lieutenant governor designee. And I was wondering, what happens if the designee goes out and the lieutenant governor goes out and the governor goes out? There's nothing in the statute that states if these 3 gentlemen or ladies are vacated, we don't have anything. So I decided we need to change that. I sat down and I started reading the statutes. I made sure that what I was going to do was something that is going to fix a problem. And we discovered the problem, that the list is too inefficient, too short, and so I drafted up the bill. I worked with Reneva Moss, worked with the Senator John Coghill, and we drafted up I drafted it up and I gave it to him and said, do you approve of this? Would you be able to have this? And he said, I like it. So we were able to send that to Ledge Legal. They drafted up the bill, which is a different anomaly in and of itself, because when I'm growing up, I think, oh, the senators write each bill personally and work on that. That's not the case. They have a group of people who are experts in the law and help you draft up the bill so that it's not unconstitutional. So they gave me the bill and I looked at it. I finally was able to get a hearing for it, went to Senate State Affairs, had a committee hearing on it. And when I left, I realized there were so many more holes in the system that needed to be fixed. And even right now, it's still in Ledge Legal while we're drafting up a committee substitute for it.
That's SB 73.
SB 73,
Yeah.
which is it's changing
That's
the
the
governor's
succession bill,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
changing the governor's line of succession, so that it's not what we have right now. Because what we have right now is too finicky. If something happens to the lieutenant governor, if he vacates the office, or if in the case of an accident, lieutenant governor designee becomes the lieutenant governor. That's what we have right now. It's just those three people. And that's too short of a list. And we had the earthquake on November 30th months ago. An earthquake like that can strike at any time, and we have fractions of a second to prepare for it, because there is hardly a warning by Mother Nature. So we need to be prepared for that in the event of some sort of attack, or in the event of some sort of disaster. We need a longer line of succession. And the more shorter line of succession is good for vacancies. If the lieutenant governor vacates and the next person comes up in the list, boom, it'll be quick, kind of like with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It wasn't a whole, okay, now we're going to approve who's going to be the new president. No, there was no huge process like that. It was vice president, boom, you're now the president. And that's what I kind of envision for this. If something happens to the governor, boom, lieutenant governor, you're governor now, and we work out the process from there.
Last question, I think, anyway. What is probably your biggest takeaway from this internship?
The biggest takeaway I've personally picked up is definitely the fact that this is what I want to do. And it will weed out, this internship weeds out the possibilities for your future. You'll sit down in an office, and even if it's not working in the legislature, you'll see lobbyists come in and you'll ask them questions about what they work for. Maybe that organization, you might want to work for that organization in the future. And then you get their card, call them up, ask questions, and you'll learn more and more. And that's what this internship is doing for the students. It's helping you understand what you want to do with your future. What is it that you can do with your future? And I came here to the office, I sat down at a desk, and I realized, yes, being a legislator is what I want to do with my future. So why stop here? When I go back home in Anchorage, I'm going to be keeping in contact with my representative and my senator to make sure that they're doing things properly, and that I can hopefully be part of the process in the future one day. Because I was introduced on the House floor by Representative Laddie Shaw, and he even made a little ad-lib comment saying, "Oh, one day Radames Mercado is going to replace me in 8 years." And as much as a joke that is, that's what I want to do one day. I want to be able to take a seat here one day and take a stand for Alaskans in my future and their future as well.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.